In this video, I'm going to show you how to add support for the WebP image format on your WordPress website in the easiest way possible. Let me clarify an important thing. Since WordPress 5.8, WordPress natively supports the WebP image format. What does that mean? Let me explain. Here's the media library on my website. If I drag and drop a WebP image on the screen on my website, it will natively be uploaded and be accepted by WordPress. This was not the case before WordPress 5.8. And if I open up the image, you see it's a WebP image. So what's the point of this video, Yuvraj, right? You can already upload WebP images on your site. Why do I need to understand how to add the support? What's the point of this video? Well, there are a couple of reasons. The first reason is that although you can upload WebP images, you cannot convert existing PNG, JPG images to WebP format. So if you have tons of images already, you can't convert them natively. The second reason is that WebP support is still not 100%. So not all browsers completely support it. So let's say you were able to figure out a way on converting every image on your site to WebP format. What if a visitor comes to your site with a browser that does not support WebP? They'll see all the images broken on your site. So you still need to have the PNG or the JPG versions of your website or the images on the site and have a solution that can work and understand the browser and then serve the right image format to the user. And that's the point of this video, that I can explain to you a solution that can work for all situations, regardless of what the browser the user is using, and also help you save space and also bandwidth on your website using the power of WebP. Understood? Let's get started. So to add the ability to convert our existing JPG, PNG images to WebP and also to serve WebP images intelligently, we'll use a plugin. There are plenty of plugins out there that'll get the job done, but my recommendation goes to Imagify. I've had personal experience with it, works great. But you can use some other plugins as well. You might need to configure them on your end, but most of the time, these settings are completely the same. The interface might look a little different. For example, I've heard good things about the Robin image optimizer, and if you scroll, you just search for image optimization, and you'll find tons of plugins. Short pixel image optimizers also works great, and there are many others as well that'll get the job done very quickly. And I'll say, in a similar manner with similar efficiency. But I have used Imagify and I'll recommend it that you use it. And there's a free plan as well. You don't need to pay to get started. If you like it, you can pay for the nominal fees of whatever they charge for a premium plan. So let me install the plugin and I'll show you how it works. Let me also activate the plugin. So the plugin is now activated on the site and you can see on-screen instructions on what you need to do to start using the plugin. You need to sign up for an account. You'll need to have or create an API key. It's free. You can have, or there's a generous limit that you can utilize, and then you can start with the settings. Now I already have an account, so I'm not going to do that. I also have my API key. So I'll just pause the video for a second, copy my API key and paste it right here. So I've copied my API key. Let's click this button. I'll paste the API key. I'll click connect me. And my API key is valid. I can now configure the settings. Let me go here. Let's go to settings. So here are the settings for the Imagify plugin. Imagify will not only help you convert your images to WebP, but also help you resize them to an appropriate size so that you're not wasting bandwidth and storage on your server, right? So you have settings for auto optimize image and upload. That means whenever you upload an image, automatically they'll be resized to an appropriate format so that you have no loss of quality and you're saving bandwidth. You also have backup original images, which is great, right? If you want to, let's say, revert back to an original version of an image, you have that option right here. Next is create WebP version of images. This is checked by default. That means the WebP images will be created by default. But if you want to start displaying those WebP images on your site, you need to enable this option as well, which is display WebP or display images in WebP format on the site. If you click this, you have two options, which is something you need to figure out on your own. Let me explain. The way this works is, as I mentioned, you need a way to display the WebP images on your server as well. And the way the plugin handles it is by adding some rewrite rules or by using picture tags. The preferred method is picture tags, as you can see right here, preferred. But it can also break some themes. And also if you're using a CDN to serve the images, you'll also need to specify the URL of the CDN right here so it can work correctly. So what I want you to do is use this option first, which is the preferred option. See if the images or see if everything works perfectly on a site. And if it doesn't, switch to the use rewrite rules options. Those are only two options. And if you still have problems, you can contact the support team. Most of the time, or I say 90% of the cases, the preferred or the picture tags will work completely, which is what I use also on my site. I'll just click here and we'll just work with the default options. Now, there are some other settings also we can configure, but one of the, I say, key settings that you should consider is resize larger images, and you can configure a maximum width that you can or you want your images to be resized to. So generally what I do is, let's say if your images are, for most of the time on any browser, I say 2048 pixels is the maximum image width that I recommend. It's also, I say it also covers very high resolution devices or retina devices. So using this image bandwidth or using this image width will cover all sorts of devices and will also provide you a reasonable level of quality, or I say very good quality, without compromising on size, right? So this is the setting I recommend, but for most cases 2048 pixels width is more than sufficient. You also have theme images you can optimize. You can also optimize images of different size. You can also enable the menu option, which I usually don't use, but just for this example I'll keep it enabled. I'll save my changes. And once the changes are saved, now the settings are configured, but we'll still need to go and start optimizing the images on site, which you can do in multiple ways. First, we go to the media library. You have switch to list view, and you can start seeing options here. Now see, WebP image is already uploaded, so you see that the media is not supported because WebP image is already compressed. But if I add a couple of extra images, let's say if I go here and let's say I just dump a couple of images on the screen. Once this is done, we'll start seeing some options. So as we configured, the auto optimize setting is on. That means what WebP or what Imagify will do, it automatically resize the images, also convert them to WebP, which you're already seeing right here. Then we also go to the media library once this happens, and I'll show you additional options that you can utilize to optimize your images even further and also revert back to original options if you need to. So the optimization is done. Let's go back to the library. So the optimization process is now complete. You see some additional details, new file size, original savings, and all these details. We can also re-optimize with lossless compression. We can restore the original, and we can also see some details. So if I click the details, you'll see original file size, which I think is a bug because I can see right here off the screen that the original file size for this particular image is 788 kilobytes. So it's probably a bug, and that's why it shows 81 kilobytes with 788 kilobytes. So there's significant savings on this image when it's resized and also converted to WebP. And also if I see this image, then it's 220 kilobytes, and I think the original image size for this was around 3.47 image or 3.47 megabytes. So I think it's calculating or using the image size after it's already resized, and then once it's converted to WebP, I think that is the file size, or that's the way it's calculating file sizes. Ultimately, we are just concerned that is it providing any optimization, which it is. And in a similar manner, once you start uploading images to your site, they'll automatically optimize. The WebP version will automatically be created for them as well without utilizing your server resources. So that's a great part. And you have additional options. So you can, if you want, you can re-optimize with lossless compression. Let's say you have an image which is really, really precise and you want to highlight all the details. You can use lossless compression, which is again an option. And you can also restore the original ones if that is required, because we configured the backup options, or we check the option for original backups to be maintained. So this is the basic functionality. Upload the images, it happens automatically. If you have existing images, go to the bulk optimization and then optimize or configure the settings and optimize all the images on your site in a single click. That's how it works. But does it actually work on the site? Depending on the configuration. Let's also check out. Let's create a post. I'll add a couple of images there and we'll check out if the WebP version is now being served on the site. All right, let's check it out. So I just created the simple post on the site. I just named it WebP test just for simplicity. And I added all 3 images that are uploaded to the media library. This image of the school cat was already a WebP image. This was the first example. Then these are the images that I added later, which are converted to WebP. Now let's preview this post and figure out if all the images are being served in WebP format. I'll click the preview button. I'll open it up in a new tab. Let the preview generate. I'll open this image in a new tab. And it's a WebP image. Expected. I'll place the URL on the screen as well. Let's close this up. Let's check this laptop image. And it's also a WebP image. I'll place the URL on the screen once again. And once again, I'll open this image in a new tab. And it is also a WebP image, which you can see on the screen right here. So this is the easiest way to convert your images, serve WebP images, add the support, and also have some sort of intelligent WebP serving so that the users can understand, or your website can understand what browsers does support WebP and serve the correct images accordingly. As I said, there are other plugins that can do a similar job, but I've used Imagify and it works pretty well without having to configure with a lot of settings. As I mentioned, it can be a little tricky to understand using the picture tag or using the HTTP or I'd say rewrite rules in htaccess. It can get a little complicated. So start with Imagify. If you don't like it, test out some other plugins that I already mentioned. And if you have any questions about this video, you can leave that in the comments as well. And if you like this simple explanation, simple video, a like will be appreciated. Subscribe for more easy to follow along WordPress tutorials just like this one on WP Beginner. My name is Yuvraj and I'll catch you in the next video. Till then, take care.